Welcome to another episode of Ghosts of England. Today we check out 12 real ghost reports from the county of Leicestershire. Number 1. Victorian policeman. On the 13th of September in 2011, a man whilst walking past the Bull's Head public house witnessed the spirit of an old Victorian policeman. The witness stated that a strange feeling was coming from the officer. He even crossed the road to get away from the spirit, but could still feel the overwhelming presence of the officer. It was as though he could feel the officer's eyes on his back. A little while down the road he looked back towards the entity, but the officer had vanished. Number 2. Faceless man. This next report has also been mistaken for an alien visitation. During the late 1920s, a woman playing in the fields of Anstey came across a darkly dressed man with no face. Behind him she could see a circular building. She ran to fetch her father, who was in a nearby field, but by the time she got back, the faceless man and building were nowhere to be seen. Number 3. Father Dougal. In September of 1950, a brother and sister visiting the Church of St. Edward King and Martyr came across a vicar that they had not met before. They got talking to the man, who introduced himself as Father Dougal, and at one point he explained that he used to be based at this church, but left in 1906. It wasn't until later on that the brother and sister discovered that the father had in fact died in 1906. Number 4. Figure in a long coat. Faceless entities must be popular in Leicester, as one autumn night in 1997, a passenger in a car heading down Abbey Road in Charlie spotted on the side of the road a figure wearing a long coat, walking towards the car. The figure looked up briefly before stepping out in front of the car. The passenger screamed "Stop!" and braced themselves for impact. The driver did an emergency stop and inquired as to what all the commotion was about. The passenger explained that a faceless figure had walked out in front of the car, but the driver claimed to have not seen anyone by the roadside. A quick search of the area around the car would find no body or damage to the car. Number 5. Mischievious girls. During the 1970s, the Church of St. Nicholas in Collerton had a number of reports involving a group of girls that could be heard running around and talking all over the building. On one particular strange event, strange mumblings could be heard coming from a set of disconnected speakers. Also on site there have been witness accounts of an old lady. Number 6. Dark figure. In November of 2011, a man while cycling to work along Richmond Road in Hugglescott was terrified when a dark figure suddenly appeared in front of him. Not having enough time to swerve out of the way, the witness feared a collision, but instead went straight through the entity. He then stopped and turned around in time to see the dark figure walk through an old bridge wall. Telling a friend about the incident later on, he found out he was not the only person to have encountered this phantom. Number 7. The Bottom Pincher. In the Moat Hotel in Humberstone during the 70s, there was a poltergeist that made a reputation for itself by pinching women's bottoms. Very cheeky. But other activity on site involved furniture and items being moved around bedrooms within the building. Number 8. The Elderly Couple. A house in Kegworth is reputed to be haunted by an elderly man and woman. Perhaps the two are a couple. The elderly woman can be seen entering the garden to the property through a wall where a gate used to be. While inside the house, the elderly gentleman sits by the fireplace, bringing about the smell of tobacco smoke. Witnesses have also heard a ghostly conversation, but the words are not quite understandable. Number 9. The Hitchhiker. Back in 1994, a report comes in from witnesses driving down a road in Nipton. By the side of the road they saw a hitchhiker wearing a long coat, and, as any sensible people that have watched far too many horror movies to take a risk on letting a stranger in the car would do, they'd planned on driving straight past him. But only for the stranger by the side of the road to step out in front of the car. The driver braked quickly to avoid hitting the man, but by the time the car had stopped, the mystery man had vanished. Number 10. Headless Soldier. Being decapitated during the Battle of Bosworth in 1485, this soldier has been seen in surrounding areas looking for his head. Though I'm not sure how you look for your head when you don't have a head, because you look with your eyes which are in your head. Yeah. Number 11. May. A spirit known simply as May is said to haunt the Braunstone Hall and Park. It is believed that she died at the age of 18 from tuberculosis. She can be seen wandering the corridors of the hall. Another shade that has been seen on site is of a groom that killed himself on site by hanging. And also a little boy with sad eyes has often been spotted looking down on people from upstairs windows. And out on the grounds, the ghostly apparition of 2 horses pulling a carriage can be seen that will disappear into the trees. And finally for this video, number 12. Edwardian Boy. During the 70s at the Haymarket Theatre, a small Edwardian boy can be seen in an old-fashioned sailor suit. He would be seen by the people during rehearsals. Linked to this, there is a story of a boy that had drowned in a nearby well that used to be on site. It is believed that this is the boy that haunts the theatre. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.